The mastering process. The mastering process is pretty much when you have as close to a final product as possible, and you want to make it even better. And typically, this is something done by a mastering engineer in a mastering suite, and they are usually very expensive. The suites and the engineer. It's a very specialized process, and I know a lot of people think like, well, I can master my own stuff, and by all means, yes, you absolutely can. But there is an art and a delicate touch that a great mastering engineer can work onto a song that really just shines it up to the best that it can be. Usually they're using very expensive gear, outboard gear, EQs, processors that are very dedicated toward the specific task of mastering in an acoustically treated space, usually called a mastering suite, that's very accurate, using a super killer piece of speakers because usually a mastering engineer is doing that often. And he's got the gear to do it the best. And he's got the experience to do it better than somebody who's not a mastering engineer. Also, another great thing that a mastering engineer will do for you is give you a fresh perspective on your music. So let's say, you've been in your room mixing and doing everything that you can, and your stuff comes out a little bit bright or harsh or dark or one thing or another. What a great engineer can do is really give you an unbiased, genuinely great presentation of your idea with fresh perspective. Guitar player on his own is only so good, and you bring in like a vocalist and a drummer, and you start getting a band, it comes better. Same thing with a great mastering engineer. Just fresh perspective added to your music, bringing it to another level that you couldn't do on your own. And it's a good thing. You should let it happen. Otherwise, you can get mastering software, which is great. Ozone by iZotope. There's other really killer mastering suites out there that you can run. Usually they are CPU intensive as well. But just to recap, essentially the process of mastering does two things. It optimizes the audio, highs, mids, lows, and the levels to make sure your song is at the proper level. As well, a lot of mastering engineers will also give you specific files and formats. So let's say if you wanted to go to iTunes or to Spotify or something like that, some platforms have specific specifications that they want songs to be in, and a mastering engineer usually will be able to provide those services as well to make sure it is mastered for iTunes or mastered for whatever format you're going for, as another service that a mastering engineer can do for you. Or essentially you can do it yourself, but just like anything with music, it's going to take some practice.